your man, Lanre Ajayi, on My City Speaks to Me, the Calgary edition, on board one of the Heritage Park train. I'm going to be talking to one of the conductors here on this train that'll give us a brief information. Till then, I'm just going to enjoy this ride. See you back in a bit.
And the mines, we have mines that are inside the actual hill at the bottom there.
Yeah.
And they've been closed for several years, many years, and we're just reopening them next year, we're hoping.
Hi everybody. Hello, I'm here with Howard, one of the conductors in the train. So Howard, how are you?
Good.
So, how long have you been working here?
16 years.
Wow. So what attracted you to?
I just thought it'd be fun to work on the train.
So you've been working on this train for 16 years?
Yes.
Okay, tell us the name of this carriage, or what is the name of this cabin called?
This carriage here, this car was built in 1892, and its name was Mount Resplendent.
Mount Resplendent.
And it was a sleeping car, wooden sleeping car. And in 1929, they converted it from a sleeping car into a mountain observation car the way it is now.
Okay.
So going through the mountains in the summer, you could sit inside or outside. They ran between Jasper and Kamloops.
Oh, wow.
The locomotive, the engine,
Yeah.
this one was built in January of 1944. It was built in Lima, Ohio for the American Army. And then we have another one almost identical, built in 1942. It was coal, and then they converted it to oil. So we burn oil in both of them now, and we burn used motor oil. When you get your oil changed in your car, that's what we're using. In the last 5 years, they've had new tubes put in the boilers, and they've repainted them, so they should be good for 30 years, 35 years.
Wow, that's beautiful. On the average, how many people coming through on this train?
A lot. Like today we had 650 students, school students. So yeah, quite a few.
Thank you very much, Howard. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm here on the Glenmore Reservoir, here at the Heritage Park. I'm here with Captain Andrew, who's going to tell us about this beautiful boat. Right. Hello, Captain.
Yep, sure. Good. Yeah, my name is Andrew. I'm the captain here. This is the Moi, owned by Heritage Park. And this vessel that we're sailing in right now, this is a superficially similar representation of a whole bunch of earlier stern wheelers that operated in the late 1800s and the early 1900s.
Wow, cool.
Now those early vessels were steamships, and their designation was SS, which stands for steamship.
Steamship.
And they were all owned by railway companies. Railway companies found it convenient, economical to build a railway terminal alongside a lake or a large river, and then connect all the riverside or lakeside towns, villages, mines, farms to that one terminal by means of steamships operating on that body of water. When Heritage Park was starting up in the mid-1960s, they decided they've got railways and they've got wagons and they've got old buildings, and they wanted a stern wheeler to represent those earlier vessels.
Okay.
And because it was not really a feasible option to take a real one and bring it here, they decided to have one built.
Okay.
And this one is about, in terms of dimensions, about 2/3 the length of the original. One of those earlier steam-driven vessels was a vessel called Moi, and that had run from about 1898 until 1957. But the memory of that early vessel, it was the last one of those early steam-driven vessels. The memory was fairly recent, and so they named this representation Moi in memory of that earlier one.
Cool.
Been here ever since. This one was actually built in Vancouver, believe it or not.
I believe it. I believe you.
Heritage Park, of course, wanted it here in Calgary, Glenmore Reservoir. So they took it essentially just like it is now. So they took it apart again. They cut up the hull into 5 pieces. They took out the engine, disassembled all the superstructure, shipped it all here by rail, and then reassembled it here, and it was launched just down there where the public boat dock is. In the late spring of 1965.
So, Captain Andrew, I heard the sound now.
Yeah.
So, what does that sound like? What is the meaning of the sound?
That was the ship's whistle.
Okay.
Some people call it a foghorn or a tooter or what, but we call it the whistle, the big loud main whistle. And it blew one long blast, two short blasts and one long blast. And that is the letter X in the Morse code.
Oh.
And there is a tradition among mariners that if you were outward bound and you passed another company's ship homeward bound, you'd all get out and wave and lots of flags flying around, but you would blow that signal. One long blast, two short blasts, and one long blast. And it's the letter X, and we would be blowing a kiss. Anyway, come and visit my bridge. And,
Interesting. Let's go up.
Yes, this is the wheel that's operating the rudders that sort of steer us through the water. And then that's the throttle, that brass handle down there. That's the sort of the gas pedal for the engine.
Okay,
that one. And then that one drives the hydraulic pumps ahead and astern. But this is the throttle on the engine. Some gauges here.
And what's this?
That's the whistle.
Woo!
So would you like to blow the whistle? One very quick whisk. There you go. Quick. There you go. That's enough.
Wow. As a small, gotta come here and experience this. Beautiful. Apart from the artifacts and the buildings you found here at Heritage Park, this is a paradise where kids will love to come to. Behind me there is a caterpillar ride that closes and opens while it's in motion. And we have a roller skater and a car and all the fun rides for the kids. This is a beautiful place, a paradise, where you need to bring your kids to have a fun of a lifetime. Behind me, there's a building called Famous 5 Center. And I'm here with Nelly, who's going to be telling us about this building and how it is significant to women and women's rights. Nelly?
Yes. So this here is our replica of Nellie McClung's house when she lived in Calgary from 1923 to 1932. Now, she was a very important woman in Canada's history because she helped fight for women to get the right to vote.
Okay.
And she was also involved in what became known as the Persons case. And that's why we call it the Famous Five, as it was the famous 5 women that got involved in 1929 in getting women recognized as persons in Canada's Constitution.
Oh, that's amazing. So you said this building, it's a replica of the original.
Yes. The original house is still in downtown Calgary. It's in the Mount Royal Village neighborhood, but it wasn't safe for us to move it, so we decided to build this replica that's a little bit larger than the original.
Okay. For the benefit of our viewers, we're going to take you right inside this Famous 5 Center and then check out the beautiful things inside. Let's go.
So this here is called the parlor room. So this would have been where Nellie and her husband would have entertained their guests, relaxed after a long day of work, listened to a bit of music on the radio.
This is huge.
Yes, this is my favorite room in the house. It is very comfortable. Again, a little larger than the original would have been.
Okay.
But as you can see, it was still a very nice house, so they were a wealthier family.
Yeah.
This is called the Ivy Room. It's where Nellie did a lot of her gardening. She had a very big dining room. They could entertain quite a few guests in here. The original dining room would have sat about 17 people. Head upstairs. This bedroom over here is for Nellie and her husband. And we do have a bowl. The one painted right there is actually hand painted by Nellie McClung herself. So the next bedroom that we have down here, this would have been the room of Nellie's 2 youngest sons. So she did have 5 children, 4 boys and 1 girl, but 3 of them had moved out of the house by the time that they moved in here in 1923.
That's beautiful.
My favorite item in here is the Calgary Stampede flag that we have from 1923.
23.
This area over here that we have is Nellie's writing area. So she was a very successful author who wrote 16 books in her time.
Wow.
One of them, called Sowing Seeds in Danny,
Sowing seeds.
yes, in Danny, was released in 1908, and it was the best-selling book in Canada that year, outselling Anne of Green Gables,
Wow.
which was released in the same year. And then the last bedroom that we have over here belonged to the maid. So this was their maid Elsa's room. And you can see that they treated their maids very nicely.
This doesn't look like a maid's room.
No, it
It
doesn't.
looks beautiful.
Yes, they treated their maids like family in the house here.
And here are the pictures
Yes, here
of the
are
famous
pictures
five.
of our famous five.
As far as I'm concerned, of all the places I've been to here today at Heritage Park,
Yes.
this is one of my favorite places.
Oh, that makes us happy to hear.
Beautiful. Thank you, Nellie, for
Well,
your time.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome to the Gasoline Alley here at the Heritage Park, where I'm surrounded with aesthetic, beautiful gas pump. I'm here with Scott, who's going to be telling us about these beautiful, items, gas pumps.
Excellent.
How are you, Scott?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Cool, I'm good. So,
Excellent.
this is amazing.
These are a great way to show how things have changed. So we've gone from Heritage Park, most of what you'll see out in the park is horse and buggy.
Yeah.
But now we're moving into automobiles and how that's changed with different things. So what we have just beside us here, these are what we call pre-visible pumps.
Pre-visible.
Pre-visible. So the customer comes up and they don't understand how much gas they're actually purchasing. So it became law in 1915 that it had to be visible to show how much gas the customer is purchasing. So that's when we moved to what we call our visible pumps.
Okay.
So they're pumped up from underground, they fill up this tank so the customer can see how much they're purchasing, and then it's gravity fed into the car.
That's beautiful. That's amazing. This beautiful. I can imagine this is someone's garage sometime.
This is, so I'd like to start with this one here actually.
Okay.
So most of our vehicles that started in Gasoline Alley began as this 1924 International truck. So majority of them had to be restored. So part of the restoration process is looking to find out what you have and bringing it into making it so it looks brand new again. So majority of our cars, as you can probably find hard to imagine, started in a condition much like this one here.
So all the cars here like this originally when they came.
Very much so.
Wow.
Before our benefactor Ron Carey did any of the restoration. The majority of them are in running condition. So if we were wanting to start them up, we could start them up.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the lower gallery. So
Whoa.
all of these cars are also Ron Carey's.
So this is an example that we have to show
Ooh,
how vehicles work. So for example, this is a brake, it's a circumference brake that will actually stall the engine.
Oh.
This is a reverse pedal because early cars did not have a fuel pump. So they actually drove up hills backwards so they would not stall out along the way. And then this is now in high gear and low gear. So the other things we have is a throttle, which will be on the side of the steering column, and then handbrake for handling.
Back in the days when there are no keys or remote starter, this is how you start your car. And your hands off, and then the car started working, and then you're on the road.
You're on the road, but learning how to start the car was your first driving lesson because you wanted to make sure you were able to start it safely because with these old crank systems, it was very dangerous. So you could end up with an injury if you didn't hold it in a way that you could release very quickly. So you don't want to put your thumb around it, otherwise you'd end up with a broken thumb. So you want to be very careful as you're starting the car. So here in Gasoline Alley, we can do so many things beyond just as a museum. We also are a function space as well. So we have weddings and other parties in here as well. So this creates a great atmosphere for those types of celebrations. We also have school programs that come in and they also learn about the changes to automotive history. And it's really a celebration of not only cars, but also of change in how we get around. So the idea of how we've progressed in our transportation and also in technology too. So cars are the first time that technology has really advanced, and you can really see that here. And so what we also want to be sure to mention is our benefactor Ron Carey donated all the pumps and majority of our vehicles and our signs that we have as well. So he spent much time looking for these vehicles. He started when he was a young man and continued to look and search and discovered so many neat things that we like to share.
Thanks to that man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.